costs $4 to get Twitter Premium.
We missed the guarantee. We can't make the $4 payment. I walk over to record and 3 people want my attention. It's day 4 of the Kentucky Poker Open, a tournament series that I've said very little about thus far. And maybe I'll record over by this backdrop because we just got it. Still a little bit wrinkly. First day was, I would say, a big success. We had 87 entries in kind of like a not super special event. It was just the opener, had a 10K guarantee, so we were expecting, at least 50, hoping for at least 50, expecting maybe, I think people set the line at 60 something. So to get 87 right off the bat was really cool. It was also just a really great vibe in here. I think every time there's an initial event for a series, there's a lot of attention, a lot of excitement. Second day, we ran our mystery bounty, day 1A, and that was very small. So we had only 28 entries in that, and it was a $50,000 guarantee, $500 buy-in. So we really wanted to hit more like 40 on the first day. And we knew basically very high probability we would miss the guarantee after that first day. But the second day about doubled it, which is around what you expect from a Friday day 1, Saturday day 1. We still missed the guarantee. I think overall total damage on the 50K was about $10,000, a hair under. So certainly could have been worse based on the first day, but based on when we made the event, probably couldn't have been too much worse than that. We do have another big guarantee that I want to tell you about. $100,000 guarantee, $1,100 buy-in. It's our kind of main event for this series. It's called the Kentucky State Poker Championship. Super excited about it. This was a concept I had in my mind for almost the last year, and it just didn't really make sense anywhere until now. So pretty pumped for it, hoping to spread the word. Obviously we don't want to miss the guarantee, but I'm excited for it regardless. Really just excited to give a bunch of money away. First place is gonna be probably anywhere from 17 to 25K, that's my guess. So pretty crazy. It'll definitely be the most we've ever given away to first place, unless it chops with 6 people or something like that. Day 2 is underway for the mystery bounty, so it's all very hush hush, quiet, intense over there. First player just got eliminated, that was Cam. Sean is still in, co-owner of the Barrel. He doesn't really run anything with operations, so he's in the mix. Someday I hope to get back out there for some of our bigger tournaments, but at the moment I'm still kind of a little too involved in the day-to-day, but still exciting to see, and obviously rooting for him all the way. It's a cool mix of people, definitely people who mostly play smaller, who are making it deep in stuff like this, and then folks who pretty much only come out for the big stuff. An interesting crowd for sure. Sean ultimately ended up busting the mystery bounty, and it was Martin who took it down. Martin's actually a regular in our cash game streets, so he doesn't play a lot of tournaments with us, so it was cool to see him take this kind of slower structured tournament down. I didn't really know how to wrap up this video, and it's been 2 more days since I started recording it. So day 2 of the mystery bounty was Sunday. It's Tuesday now. We have another basically 5 days left of this tournament series. I kind of wanted to wrap up with some results on other events so far and some takeaways from running this series. So our Titan event, which is a $100 multi-flight, it's actually on pace to break its $20,000 guarantee. Sort of crazy. It's obviously $100, you would think 200 players. After paying staff and stuff to actually meet the guarantee internally, we would have to hit 263 entries, and we're on pace for that. This tournament was actually the one that seemed the most at risk of missing when we first built it, besides maybe the main event. So it's cool to see it succeeding and on pace to hit. It's also our first multi-flight ever that will have more than 20 people coming back for day 2. Right now we're projecting 30 to 40 coming back for day 2, which for such a small room, I think is really cool. It's going to have hundreds of entries, but the most entries is going to be 60 in a day. So to bring back 30 plus people, to me is really cool. I'm super excited about it as somebody who loved tournaments when I was playing more. Then we had our Super Turbo, which had no guarantee, and I think was kind of priced a little bit wrong. It was a little too expensive. It was $400 entry, 15-minute blinds. I think at that price point, you really need something slower, or you have to have built up kind of a reputation for running Super Turbos with every series and having bigger buy-ins, but I think more in the 150 to 200 range probably would have been correct for this. And then our Parliament Omaha, which is a $400 entry as well, $10,000 guarantee, and we've run this event several times. It's done anywhere from like 25 all the way up to like 45 entries as a 1 day event. And an employee actually took it down. His name's Ronnie. Ronnie deals PLO, but he also deals a bunch of our other games and tournaments, and he prefers playing PLO when he does play poker. He took that down and had 34 entries, so definitely on the small side, but did meet the guarantee. So the feedback from the series has been fantastic so far, in terms of the offered events, just the staff and how the dealers are doing, the food. We've had food trucks on site, but no matter how good the series performs from a customer satisfaction standpoint, right, from the members' perspective, we didn't really expect to miss on the mystery guarantee, the mystery bounty. So, like, we thought it was possible to miss, but we missed by significantly more than we expected. Now, on the one hand, I'm happy to pay it, right? Because the whole point of a guarantee, from a player perspective, is that you're going in, that's the minimum prize pool that's going to be paid out. So it does make me feel good to be in a position to offer that guarantee, pay it, and go on with life. That being said, the goal of a guarantee from an operator perspective is to draw in players, not necessarily to lose money. Now, you could run a guarantee and plan to lose money. Like, that is a marketing opportunity for sure. And it's just like, oh my gosh, they know they're gonna miss this and it's so crazy. And they're doing it anyway, right? That in and of itself could be the marketing play. But for us, like, this is a significant amount of money. We're pretty early on in our journey as a room. And so our goal is to draw in players at a price point that makes sense where we don't lose money too frequently running the guarantee. So what my job is basically, outside of like helping run the day to day, outside of, training, filling in, hiring, is to functionally like lead the company. And one thing that we have to do when something like this happens, that I would say is a success on a customer side, but a little bit of a failure on an internal side, in terms of hitting the goals we were trying to hit. I have to ask the question of like, what do we learn from this? I think, first off, we just ran too many events with higher buy-ins. Our normal kind of price point, like day to day, is anywhere from 100 to 300. That's kind of like our typical. And then occasionally we have roughly $500 buy-ins. For our series in March, we ran mostly $250 buy-ins. I think we ran 3 of those, and then a $400 and a $800 main event. And the main event was a 50K guarantee. It paid out 77.7K, so no issues there. But I think that this time around, first off, we had way more events. So to have, 4 events that are kind of in that higher price point range, $400 all the way up to $1,100, it was just too much, budget wise for people. I think we also just had too many events on the same day. So people are now having the option to choose between a $100 entry and a $500 entry, where the Titan is a super cool concept, but I actually think that instead of deciding whether to play or not, like if there's one event on the day, they're actually choosing which event to play. The way we structured this, we made it so that people could bust out of one event, head into the next one. There was sometimes a little bit of overlap in terms of registration. But I think that was a bit of a mistake. I think that we're a little bit too early in terms of how many players know about us, are coming to play for us, and the budgets that people have, and just forcing them to choose between 500 and 100. Way more people were choosing the 100, not saving up for the 500 and just being like, I'll fire or whatever at the 100, rather than only getting one bullet at this 500. I think that's really where the mystery bounty got hurt, and I do think there's an element of that hurting us for the main event as well, although we don't know yet if that will meet the guarantee, obviously. I do think there's more prestige around the main event and around, just like being called the state champion. So it's a little bit different than just this kind of mystery bounty that's on this random weekend during the series. And then the last thing that was kind of a takeaway for me, and this one kind of hurt, was that too many people didn't even know we had a series going on. And I don't mean like our regulars. Our regulars always know what's going on. They're talking with us in the room. They're plugged into Facebook. They're seeing the marketing, right? They're seeing all of it. But I think that we didn't really recognize how many people had to come in who don't normally come in, to beef out these bigger buy-in events. When we ran our barrel main event back in March, there were a lot of folks who came in either first time ever for that event, or they've only come in for buy-ins that are over $300, which for us is only, once a month at most, basically. So when that's the case, those people need to still find out about this series. I actually sort of pounded the pavement a little bit after our mystery bounty missed the guarantee. I made some phone calls. I just had some frank conversations with people who had played bigger with us in the past and who we hadn't seen for this series because it was surprising. And I wasn't sure if they just weren't attracted by it, if they were kind of turned off by the last time that they came to play with us. A lot of things have happened and we've improved in a lot of ways since March. But my biggest takeaway was actually that a lot of people didn't know we had a series. And so that was pretty humbling. I think that as a business owner, you are consumed all day and night by the things that you're doing and your customers and how they're experiencing the thing that you offer. You don't really think about the fact that that's not true for anybody else. and that for them, you are just one of hundreds of businesses that they interact with on a yearly basis. So being plugged in, like, when you think about it in terms of hundreds of businesses, they have to juggle in their mind if they're going to know what's going on with those businesses. It kind of makes you take a step back and say, well, what am I doing to make sure that this is phenomenal, that they are remembering it, that they are talking about it to each other? And what marketing am I putting out there that is getting in front of the eyeballs that might already know we exist, but don't know about this thing? And that's something that, in the beginning, everybody was like, oh, nobody's ever heard of you. Nobody's ever heard of you. And it was kind of like my mentality around marketing was, well, marketing is about telling people you exist. In the case of the Kentucky Poker Open and now the Kentucky State Poker Championship or this mystery bounty missing the guarantee, it's not just knowing we exist. They have to know what's going on with us. And keeping people in the loop is something that I think we've struggled with a little bit and is where I want to focus a lot of my attention going forward. I will probably be using this channel more to keep you guys posted on what's going on with me. But, this is also something that extends beyond me at this point. I'm not the only person. I'm certainly not the only one in the organization who can work on marketing and who can work on other channels that I'm not maybe the best at. So this is where I, as a person, need to grow. And I've done a lot of growing over the last year and a half or so. This is another big opportunity. If I don't enlist help, we will not succeed. And that's both a relief to admit and also very alarming to admit at times. I am excited by the prospects, and in a lot of ways, I have gotten much better at delegating. I have gotten better about elevating people within the organization to higher levels to get them to take on things that formerly only I could do or only Mickey could do. But I need to get better at it, like a lot better. This has been a little bit rambly, but that's kind of where my head's at. Hopefully this has been interesting for those of you guys who are asking for like shorter but more frequent updates. This is kind of the style that I see being possible going forward, as far as like talking some in the room, reflecting a little bit outside of the room, showing a little bit of B-roll, showing a little bit of what's going on, and hopefully keeping it somewhat interesting along the way. But thank you guys for watching, and I will see you hopefully soon.